Fantastic. Look at all those people we have with us today.
Love
Hi,
it.
all. Thank you for joining us. We'll give everyone just a minute to let as many people in as possible as we are now at the 12 o'clock mark. Excellent. So, thank you all for joining us today. By way of introduction, if we have not met, my name is Alicia Mallon. I am one of the field directors at MASC. One of the great things about working for MASC, if you don't already know this, is almost everyone on the staff either has been or currently is a school committee member. I currently serve on the Neshoba Tech School Committee. I'm the secretary there, and I'm starting my 10th year on school committees. I was 5 years on a town, and I'm starting my fifth year on my regional Voc Tech. And I will let Sean introduce himself.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sean Costello. If we haven't met yet, I'm the field director for Southeastern Massachusetts, so Boston all the way down through the South Shore, Cape and Islands. If you fall in that range, you are in my district. I have been on MASC staff for a couple of years now, but I've been on the Marshfield School Committee for 11 years, and I've been the chair of that body for 10 years. And those of you who are on here as chairs know that that is not some kind of honor bestowed upon you. It is that nobody else wanted to do it. So I have been lucky enough to do that job for my community for 10 years.
And we also have with us this afternoon, Glenn Kuchar, who is our executive director. Glenn, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody.
So what we thought we would do today is we're just going to run a couple of slides, and we are recording the slides, but when we get to the discussion part, we're going to turn off the recording so that we can have a conversation. And the idea behind this is just to try to connect some of our chairs and our vice chairs and our rising chairs, those of you who have so graciously decided to take this on for the upcoming school year. We thank you for that. It is a lot of work. It can be very, very rewarding, but we do also understand that it is a lot of work for all of you. So hang tight while we kick off our slides really quick.
And Alicia, also the people who might not be chairs yet, but want to be chair one day. Hopefully, there's some of
Indeed.
those on here as well, because we definitely need people who want to step up and do that.
Absolutely. Okay. So just to start, if any of you are currently chairs, this is sort of a feeling that chairs very often have, that you are kind of the ringleader, the person who is trying to organize and control and keep everyone on track, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. Hopefully, it doesn't feel like dinosaurs chasing you, like poor Mr. Pratt here, but we do recognize that it can be a very complicated process. So, by any other name, the chair is the servant of the assembly. You are the person who is most responsible for making sure that your committee stays on track. You are the first among equals. Though you do have that responsibility, you are still only one member, and you are the chief volunteer. So you are the person to whom most things fall when there are things that need to be done by the committee.
So being the chair means more than just presiding over the school committee. There's a lot of different tasks and duties that fall underneath the chair that have to be done in order for the committee to run effectively. So obviously, when you commit yourself to being the chair of your committee, that's something that takes a lot of time. Being a member of a school committee is, of course, as much time as you put into it. But when you're the chair, you're committing yourself to like at least a minimum number of hours every single week because you're going to be speaking frequently with the superintendent. You're going to be speaking frequently with the other members of your committee who may be looking for certain information. You're going to be speaking with anybody else who might be a stakeholder who wants to reach out to you. There's a lot of different things that fall under you, so people will certainly be doing that. You have to have attention to detail. You certainly have to have strong leadership skills, right? And these leadership skills, especially the way Alicia just described it, where you're the servant of the assembly and not the master. You're not the one in charge. You're not the boss. You're the person that facilitates information and conversation. So you have to have those servant leadership skills that are necessary to facilitate that kind of conversation with the committee. That requires interpersonal skills as well, and also strong communication skills. And of course, the committee is counting on you as their chair having knowledge of certain things like the open meeting law. You don't want to get your committee in a position to have an open meeting law violation. You have to know about collective bargaining. You're probably going to have at least one unit up every year. So as chair, you're going to be leading a process where you maybe appoint somebody to be on the collective bargaining committee, or you're doing it yourself. And then you have to know the different areas of conflict of interest in the state that could come up as the school committee chair, because you have to be the one that the rest of your committee is going to looking for clarity on that information. there's a lot of responsibilities, like we said, that come with being the chair. Again, you guide the work of the committee. You have to keep the committee organized, and that involves looking at the year ahead and knowing where you want certain things to fall on your school committee agenda and ensuring that you follow through with having those items on the agenda in a timely fashion and that the conversation is facilitated in a timely fashion in a way that can clearly direct your administration on the mission, the vision, and the goals that you as a committee are laying forward for the school committee and for your entire school district. Obviously, everybody's number one goal here is providing for student achievement. And as the school committee chair, your duty is incredibly important in that because you facilitate the direction of the school committee. And if your school committee is not functioning effectively, if you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing as a committee, if you're not making sure that you're sticking to that timely agenda and getting things done at a certain point throughout the year, then you're not going to be providing for student achievement. You're going to be hindering student achievement. But that also includes sharing leadership responsibilities. Of course, everybody knows that committees have subcommittees, and that should lessen the burden on the entire committee while giving directed groups of folks who may have special areas of interest the ability to get involved and look at certain areas like policy or budget. So you have the opportunity to share those leadership responsibilities. And ultimately, your goal is to help the committee be greater than the sum of its parts. You have a group of maybe 5 or 7 or however many you have. And you have to look to the talents of that group and ensure that everybody feels their voice is heard. That can be a little difficult if there are folks on your committee who you may not always agree with, but they're there for a reason. The community has voted for you all, or you've been appointed for a reason. People have talents that they want to showcase and use on the school committee, and it's your job to utilize those talents and make the committee be the very best that it can be.
So, I went too far. Sorry about that, guys. Um, uh, I was very fortunate when I took over from when I replaced the irreplaceable Dorothy Presser, that I inherited a chair chat that was organized by Concord and Carlisle. They had set up a group by which they could communicate with each other during the COVID-19 shutdowns, because as many of you know who were on during that time, it was sort of a build the plane while you're trying to fly it situation. So they were really relying on each other to share best practices and just to be supports for each other. And I inherited from Dorothy this group of chairs and vice chairs who were meeting fairly regularly. And they still do to this day. And I am forever grateful to them for that, because not only is it a model for them to help each other, but it also helps me as a field director to really hear from the chairs what they need. You can, in your area, you can form your own sort of chair chat groups. They are much smaller than the division groups. The idea is that it's not Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. It's sort of regionalized. You can also do something where you have affinity style, connecting chairs and vice chairs in your communities. We could also, your field directors can help you put together groups of say chairs of regionals or chairs of vocationals or urban chairs. Um, the idea is to meet in person a couple times a year. You can meet remotely, and it's not a posted meeting. So this is not a quorum of any of your committees. And I would say, because the chair chats are usually open to chairs and vice chairs, you want to be very careful that you never approach quorum of your own committee. But it's not a posted meeting. So you can go and you can share ideas. You can talk about, what you have coming up. You can share resources. You can just have coffee and muffins and sit in a room with other people who know what it's like to sit in that chair with that gavel. You can also it does provide a really good connection through email. I know the particular chair chat that I am connected to, they very often ask each other questions and they share resources via email, and it's a fantastic resource for all of them. So you can do this in your area. You can invite your field director. You can keep it just the chairs and the vice chairs, however you want to do that. And we are more than willing to help you out there. I will tell you some common topics that they talk about. They talk about operating protocols and agendas. And if any of you are from my region, you know that I very often recommend push. I am very fond of operating protocols and really tightening up your agendas. I think it really helps your communication. It helps keep the committee on track, which can be very helpful for chairs. You can talk about policy development, budget process, subcommittee functions. You can share resources. And like I said, camaraderie and commiseration and snacks. Everything is better with snacks. So Before we get to the chat, I want to jump ahead to our upcoming events just before we turn off the recording and start to open the floor to your questions and comments. I want to make sure that you guys know that we have two charting the courses coming up in June for any of you that have new members who just came on. June 6th in Fitchburg, that's tomorrow. June 20th in Sturbridge. And then we will be resuming in September, and those exact locations will be coming out soon. We also, Division 8 has already planned ahead for the fall. There are a couple division meetings there, and there will be more to come on our website. You can find all of our events on our website. And of course, our conference, which is up in Danvers this year. We are coming off the Cape. So please check out our website for all of those things. And I think at this point, we will stop sharing and we will stop the recording. And